Here we are with part 2 talking about tactics. So to recap, a tactic is what you are doing to the other character in a scene to elicit a specific desired emotional response from them. You play a tactic to try to accomplish your objective. So I have the thing that I want, my objective, the thing I want from the other character, and I'm going to try a bunch of different ways to try to get what I want from them. Let's look at an example. Okay, here's the scene. Well, let's actually make it not a scene. Let's make it real life for a second, because real life is a scene, right? Have you ever tried to get your supervisor, your boss, to give you a raise? A lot of us have. I know I have. You have to try a bunch of different strategies, a bunch of different tactics in order to accomplish that. So what is the objective then? My objective is to get my boss, my supervisor, to give me a raise. I have to try a bunch of different things because that's tough. Nobody wants to part with money. So what am I going to do to my boss to try to get what I want, to try to get my objective met, which is get my boss to give me a raise? Well, I might flatter my boss. Everybody tries this at first, right? You're a great boss. I love working here. This is my dream job. And they say thank you, and that's not getting you any closer to what it is you need. Then you might impress your boss when the flattering doesn't work. I did this thing that took everybody else months to do. I turned that around in 3 days. I'm amazingly productive at this job. Still not working. They're still not any closer to giving you a raise. Then you try to negotiate with them. You try to to see if there's a way to meet in the middle. Then that doesn't work. Then you start to bring out some heavy-duty, uglier tactics. I might guilt them or shame them about how little money I have. It's not a living wage. I'm working so hard and there's so little money, and this isn't right because management has a much bigger salary. That doesn't work. Then I might intimidate. Well, there doesn't seem to be pay equity here because I've noticed that the men are earning more than I am, right? And I might bring this matter up with HR or my union or whatever it is, right? As you can see, I am escalating my tactics. So I start with nice things. I'm flattering, then I'm moving on to impressing them. That's not working. I'm trying to negotiate. And then I bring out the big guns and I shame them and I intimidate them. I'm changing up my tactics because if I stick with tactics that all are in the same sort of world, my scene isn't moving forward. So if I try flattering them and that doesn't work, and then I try buttering them up and that doesn't work, and then I try, something else that's nice, it doesn't work and the scene doesn't move. Do you see how this is moving, covering a lot of ground in terms of what I'm doing to them? That makes exciting theater. So you can see my pictures here, two people at an impasse, right, at the negotiation table. Then there's a tug of war, a power struggle, and then we're reaching some kind of agreement in the last picture. I tell you can find all kinds of interesting images on the internet. Okay, here's the thing. Most acting teachers will tell you that the only way to name a tactic, name what you're doing to the other person, is a verb. Here's the problem with that. I'm really bad at finding verbs. I don't know why. I really struggle with it. And all through my training in graduate school, my other training, I was just taught that it had to be a verb. And then my world got knocked sideways when I went to a conference and there was a great acting teacher there who offered another way that is equally valid, that I like even better. And that's, how are you trying to make the other person feel? So I like this better because you might be great with coming up with verbs. I personally am not. But in life, I am not really cognizant of what verb I'm doing to another person, but I'm always somewhere in the back of my mind conscious of how I'm trying to make the other person feel. So, for instance, I know this morning when I talked to one of my friends that I was trying to make him feel understood and valued. I was very, very clear in my brain that everything that I was saying was designed to make him feel understood and valued. So maybe you're like me, where you're more cognizant of what it is how you're trying to make somebody feel in a given moment. So we can also frame a tactic is how to make somebody feel. So if I want to get my boss to give me a raise, we just saw a list of verbs that we can do to them to impress, to negotiate, to threaten, to intimidate, all of those things. I can also frame that as a way to make them feel. I can make her feel powerful. I can make her feel valuable. I can make her feel generous. I can make her feel understanding. I can make her feel ashamed for paying me so little. I can make her feel threatened. I'm going to quit if I don't get a raise. And the beautiful thing is that you can mix and match these things. You don't have to say, well, I'm just going to use verbs when I name a tactic, or I'm just going to use how I'm going to make them feel. In my work, I always interchange things. I know that I'm seducing the person here, and I know that when my seduction didn't work, I'm going to make them feel uptight in my next tactic, or whatever that cringy example I gave is, right? I'm going to find different ways to get through to them, and I'm going to name those tactics either as a verb or as a to make them how I want to make the other person feel interchangeably. So to recap, a tactic is what you are doing to the other person to try to achieve your objective. And you can name your tactic in one of two ways: as a verb that you are doing to the other person, seducing, berating, cajoling, threatening, intimidating, soothing, caressing, calming, right? The list goes on. And you can actually look at a thesaurus, or there's even a great thing online that you can find called the Actors Thesaurus, or Actors Action Words, if you're stuck for verbs like I am. Or if you're stuck for verbs like I am, you can tell me that you're using your tactics as a way to make somebody feel something. I'm going to make them feel understood. I'm going to make them feel valued. I'm going to make them feel scared. I'm going to make them feel threatened. I'm going to make them feel small. I'm going to make them feel like a jerk. I'm going to make them feel sexy. So we can use these things interchangeably, and you can mix and match the way you name your tactics.